Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge, second one for the month of August. We have myself, John, Bill, Danielle, Sheila, Maggie, and Henry with us today. John says he has to leave us a little early, so unfortunately, he won't be able to participate in the scenes, but he does want to still perform a monologue, so I went ahead and I will give him the first turn. I'll let him perform a monologue first, and then whenever he has to go, he can go. But let's bring up the wheel to see what John's going to perform, and then I will be, according to the randomly determined order in advance, I will go next after John, and then Bill. Let's see, where's the wheel here? Here we go. So, okay, so John is going to perform. Oh boy, big one. Macbeth with a dagger I see before me monologue. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to have to use this over here, I'm afraid.
You're going to what?
Okay, I have to, there's something irregular going on here. I have a computer right here. I'll be looking just a little bit to the side, that's all.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable. So okay. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, it's, I'm sorry, you took it off the screen, but what is it?
Act 2, Scene 1.
Okay. And then does it start like that? Let me see. Start. Okay, yeah, okay, exit. All right, okay.
Okay.
Is this a dagger which I see before me, the handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat oppressed brain? I saw thee yet, in form as palpable as this which I now draw. Thou marshalst me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dungeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the one half world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offering, and withered murder, alarum by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time, which now suits with it. Whiles I threat, he lives, words to the heel of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Very nice. Okay, so I'm up next, and then Bill, you are on deck after me, and I will be performing. Lady Anne. It was after our game where we did this whole scene. It starts with a good monologue by Lady Anne, and then it finishes with a good monologue by Richard, and then I realized, okay, the scene's been done. I should add those both to the to the wheel. And I didn't expect it to be spun the very next week, but no, that's just the way it goes. Give me a second. I'll find. So this is the Lady Anne speech that starts that scene that we performed last week. I've also added to the wheel since then the Richard's monologue that ends the scene. Was ever lady in this humor wooed? It was. Set down your honorable load, if honor may be shrouded in a hearse, whilst I awhile obsequiously lament the untimely fall of virtuous Lancaster. Poor, key-cold figure of a holy king, pale ashes of the house of Lancaster, thou bloodless remnant of that royal blood, be it lawful that I invocate thy ghost to hear the lamentations of poor Anne, wife to thy Edward, thy slaughtered son, stabs by the selfsame hand that made these wounds. Lo, in these windows that let forth thy life, I pour the helpless balm of my poor eyes. Cursed be the hand that made these fatal holes. Cursed be the heart that had the heart to do it. Cursed be the blood that let this blood from hence. More direful hap betide thy hated wretch that makes us wretched by the death of thee than I can wish to adders, spiders, toads, on any creeping venomed thing that lives. Ever he have child, abortive be it, prodigious and untimely brought to life, whose ugly and unnatural aspect may fright hopeful mother at the view, and that to be heir to his unhappiness. If ever he have wife, let her be made a miserable by the death of him, as I am made by my poor lord and thee. Come, now towards Chertsey with your holy load, taken from Paul's to be interred there, and still, as you are weary of the wait, rest you, whilst I lament King Henry's course. Okay, that was a fun attempt at gender-bending role for me. A bit out of my comfort zone, but like, okay, great. So, Bill, you are up next, and then it's your turn, and then Maggie. Maggie, you're on deck after Bill. And Bill is going to perform. Oh, this is a new one that I recently added. Tinkylo in the Tempest. This is the start of the scene when he comes in and finds Caliban lying under the sheet and sees the 2 feet hanging out and thinks it's the monster. Well, he's going to make Stefano think it's the 2-headed monster when he crawls underneath. I believe it's the top of the scene.
Yeah, I got it. I just got it. So I'm going to read until Stefano enters, right?
Yeah, when he climbs under the blanket and then Stefano enters. And okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Here's neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all, and another storm brewing. I hear it sing in the wind. Yon same black cloud, yon huge one, looks like a foul bombard that would shed his liquor. If it should thunder as it did before, I know not where to hide my head. Yon same cloud cannot choose but fall by pailfuls. Oh, what have we here? A man or a fish? Dead or alive? A fish. He smells like a fish, a very ancient and fish-like smell. A kind of not of the newest, poor John, a strange fish. Were I in England now, as once I was, and had but this fish painted, not a holiday fool there would but give a piece of silver. There would this monster make a man. Any strange beast there makes a man. When they will not give a doit to relieve a lame beggar, they will lazy out 10 to see a dead Indian. Legs like a man, and his fins like arms. Oh, warm of my trough. I do now let loose my opinion. I hold it no longer. This is no fish, but an islander that have lately suffered by a thunderbolt. Alas, the storm is come again. My best way is to creep under his gabardine. There is no other shelter hereabouts. Misery acquaints a man with a strange bedfellow. I will here shroud till the dregs of the storm be past. End.
Very nice. I just added that to the wheel, and I thought it was good for some variety, and you did very well with it. Okay, so Maggie is up, and then Henry is on deck, then Danielle, then Sheila, then we'll go to scenes. Where's Henry? There he is. Henry, you with us? Cameras. Okay, good. Okay, so Henry is going to perform.
Oh, am I next? No.
Yeah, it's your turn. I'm spinning for you. Hamlet, oh, that this too solid flesh would melt. The first of the big monologues from Act 1, Scene 2. After all exit but Hamlet.
Yeah. Okay, got it, yes.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew! Or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon gainst self-slaughter! Oh God, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world! Fie on! Oh, fie! 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. That it should come to this. But 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not two, so excellent a king that was to this Hyperion to a satyr, so loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth must I remember. Why, she would hang on him as if the increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on. And yet, within a month, oh, let me not think on't. Frailty, thy name is woman. A little month, or else those shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body like Naomi, oh tears. Why, she, even she, oh God, a beast that once discourse of reason would have mourned longer, married with mine uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules, within a month. Yet the salt of most unrighteous tears hath left the flushing in her galled eyes. She married. Oh, most wicked speed to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets! It is not, nor it cannot come to good. But break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Awesome. Okay, Maggie is up next. Then Danielle, then Shelia, and then Scenes. Maggie. Hello. Maggie is going to perform.
Just in case I get the wild card, this time I have my monologues document open.
Oh, the opening of Henry V. I think we've spun one of the chorus's monologues before, but not this one. The "Oh for a Muse of Fire." I'm looking forward to this being spun, to see somebody do this one. Uh-oh, oh no, we just lost Maggie. I'll go ahead then. Let's skip. Danielle is next. Hopefully Maggie will come back and do that one. Otherwise, I'll put it back on the wheel. Oh, Maggie just came back. So
I'm sorry, I was looking to look at what the scene, whether it was Henry IV or Henry V again, and I accidentally closed the tab.
Okay, yeah. So let me put Henry V chorus.
Henry V. Okay, all
right. The very opening.
Okay, I got that.
So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
All right. Okay. Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention, a kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. Then should the warlike Harry, like himself, assume the port of Mars, and at his heels, leashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment. But pardon and gentles all the flat unraised spirits that have dared on this unworthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object. Can this cockpit hold the vasty fields of France? Or may we cram within this wooden the very casks that did affright the air at Agincourt? Oh, pardon. Since a crooked finger may attest in little place 1,000,000, and let us, ciphers to this great account, on your imaginary forces work. Suppose within the girdle of these walls are now confined 2 mighty monarchies, whose high unreared and abutting fronts the perilous narrow ocean parts asunder. Piece out our imperfections with your thoughts, and into 1,000 parts divide one man, and make imaginary puissance. Think when we talk of horses that you see them printing their proud hoofs in the receiving earth. For 'tis your thoughts that must now deck our kings. Carry them here and there, jumping o'er times, turning the accomplishments of many years into an hourglass, for the which supply admit me, chorus, to this history, who, prologue-like, your humble patience pray, gently to hear, kindly to judge our play.
Okay, very nice. Okay, Danielle is up next, and you will be performing. Okay, Danielle spun wild card. She can do whatever she wants.
Thank you, Maggie, for reminding me that this could happen in the chat. That was brilliant. I would like to try Constance that I've never done before and haven't looked at in ages. So it will be a reading.
Constance in King John?
In King John, yes.
Okay. Give us some context. Which one of the monologues is this, just so we have a little context about it?
This one starts with she's being accused of being too full of grief and having torn her hair and all the rest of it, because her son has been taken prisoner, and she basically knows in her heart that she's never going to see him again. He will likely be killed because he's an heir to the throne.
Okay, so this is after John has imprisoned him. Okay, just wanted to.
That's right. John has captured him.
She also has a good monologue when he's not. She's pissed off because his claim has been given up. So okay, good.
But this is to do with her son.
Okay, great. So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Thank you. I tore them from their bonds and cried aloud, "Oh, that these hands could so redeem my son as they have given these hairs their liberty. But now I envy at their liberty, and will again commit them to their bonds, because my poor child is a prisoner. And Father Cardinal, I have heard you say that we shall see and know our friends in heaven. If that be true, I shall see my boy again. For since the birth of Cain, the first male child, to him that did but yesterday suspire, there was not such a gracious creature born. But now will canker sorrow eat my bud, and chase the native beauty from his cheek, and he will look as hollow as a ghost, as dim and meagre as an ague's fit, and so he'll die, and rising so again when I shall meet him in the court of heaven, I shall not know him. Therefore never, oh, never must I behold my pretty Arthur more. Grief fills the room up of my absent child, lies in his bed, walks up and down with me, puts on his pretty looks, repeats his words, remembers me of all his gracious parts, stuffs out his vacant garments with his form. And have I reason to be fond of grief? Fare you well. Had you such a loss as I could give better comfort than you do. I will not keep this order upon my head when there is such disorder in my wits. Oh, Lord! My boy, my Arthur, my fair son, my life, my joy, my food, my all the world, my widow comforter, my sorrow's cure. Scene. Thank you.
Wow, amazing! That was awesome, and also an awesome choice. And in fact, maybe you could help us with this, because that specific one, I believe there was actually some interruptions from other characters, and you cut them out. Is that correct?
Yes, there's.
I think I'm gonna take another look at that scene, because I even remember that specific monologue, because I know the famous line, the one that starts the most famous. I think the most famous line in the play: "Grief fills the room of my absent child." I looked at the thing that included that. It wasn't long enough but with what you did, I think you combined some other stuff and cut out other characters' lines and turned it into a nice long monologue. I think I'm going to take another look at that, and then I'm going to, what you just did, I'm going to add it. It wasn't on the wheel because of that issue, but it should be. And you showed us how with a few cutting out other characters, it works as a monologue.
It is a shift. You kind of have to know that shift. That is a big shift, but hopefully it works. So
yeah, I'll make sure I put it on the wheel to indicate what parts not to do. And okay, well, thank you for helping me for being for a great performance and for giving me an idea of how to put something on the wheel that I had tried before and didn't. Okay, great. So
my pleasure. Thank you.
Anyway, Sheila hasn't gone, and Eleanor just joined us. So we'll do Sheila, then Eleanor will go, and then we'll spin for what scenes we're going to do.
Oh, and thank you, Danielle, because yes, I have some things I've done before that were mashups of certain speeches to create a monologue, and I'll be glad to revisit those for the future.
Yeah, kind of like when we did that scene from Antony and Cleopatra, where it was technically, there were a bunch of other characters, but it was I had to adapt it to let people know, okay, here's the character. Let's focus on the two that are at the centerpiece. Same kind of thing. We'll focus on the one that's the centerpiece, and once I clarified it, it was no longer a problem. I think we can do the same thing with the one that Danielle just did. Anyway, Sheila's monologue is going to be all that, and I just made a liar of myself. I guess I did already. I forgot. I guess I must have forgotten that I did find a way to put that in there. But what's the chance? But since Danielle just did it, I'll give you the option of.
Oh, spin again, please. Yes, this is not for me today.
Okay, so we'll spin again and keep it on the wheel. I can't believe it. I feel so dumb after saying all that about how I failed to find a way to put it on the wheel.
Synchronicity, my dear. All our minds were connected somehow.
Yeah, I guess I forgot that I had put it on the wheel. All that stuff I said, I look like an idiot.
No, it's synchronicity. Keep it positive.
Okay, cool. Oh, we've done her monologue a couple times from the Henry VI trilogy, where she's taunting the Duke of York. This is the same character. I don't think I think I recently added this. This is in the next play, the sequel, in the third after the Lancasters have been overthrown, and she's the exile, and she's raging at the Yorkists who are now in power. What were you snarling is how I believe how it begins. Act 1, Scene 3.
Oh, I found it. Yes, she's got a lot of words in this scene. Snarling. All right, I'll snarl. Yes.
Okay. So you found it. You're ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. So whenever ready.
What? Were you snarling all before I came, ready to catch each other by the throat and turn you all your hatred now on me? Did York's dread curse prevail so much with heaven that Henry's death, my lovely Edward's death, their kingdoms lost, my woeful banishment could all but answer for that peevish brat? Can curses pierce the clouds and enter heaven? Well, then give way, dull clouds, to my quick curses. If not by war, by surfeit. Die your king as ours by murder to make him a king. Edward, thy son, which now is Prince of Wales, for Edward, my son which was Prince of Wales, die in his youth by like untimely violence. Thyself a queen for me that was a queen, outlive thy glory like my wretched self. Longest may thou live to wail thy children's loss, and see another as I see thee now, decked in thy rights as thou art stalled in mine. Long die thy happy days before thy death, and after many lengthened hours of grief die neither mother, wife, nor England's queen. Rivers and Dorset, you were standers by, and so wast thou, Lord Hastings, when my son was stabbed with bloody daggers. Oh, God, I pray him that none of you may live your natural age, but by some unlooked accident cut off.
Okay, glad we got to see you do that one. It's interesting that so we've added some, taken some, we temporarily retire some. That one, I believe, has been on the wheel since the very beginning, and I don't think anybody has spun it yet until now. So, and you did great with it. Glad that you got to see that. Eleanor is the last one to go with her monologue, and then we will start 2 to 3 player scenes. Eleanor, are you with us? Camera's off. There you are. Okay, so Eleanor is going to do.
I'm only seeing yellow some of the time.
Yeah, so are we. Thou nature art my God, Edmund from King Lear.
I like this one.
Yeah, this is a good. I think that's one of the 2 that I said at the beginning, that John had suggested he didn't know was already on the wheel. I believe it's the opening of the scene, Act 1, Scene 2 of Lear.
Okay, let me call it up. Okay. Thou, are you going to?
Okay, I didn't. Okay, go ahead.
Thou, nature, art my goddess. To thy law, my services are bound. Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom, and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me, for that I am some 12 or 14 moonshines like of a brother? Why bastard? Wherefore base? When my dimensions are as well compact, my mind as generous, and my shape as true as honest madam's issue. Why brand they us with baseness, bastardy, base, who in the lusty stealth of nature take more composition and fierce quality than doth within a dull, stale, tired bed go to the creating a whole tribe of fops got twixt asleep and wake. Well then, legitimate Edgar, I must have your land. Our father's love is to the bastard Edmund as to the legitimate. Fine word, legitimate. Well, my legitimate, If this letter speed and my invention thrive, Edmund the base shall top the legitimate. I grow, I prosper. Now, gods, stand up for bastards!
Okay, very nice. Okay, so everybody has done a monologue. Now we'll move on to the part of our show where we do short scenes. There's 7 of us. We had 7 to begin with. One of them had to leave, and we had one that just joined us. So we'll spin to get enough scenes to give a roll for all 7 people, and then we'll spin to see who gets the first choice of roles within those scenes. So let's see. One of our scenes that we'll do today will be 12th Night. That's Act 3, Scene 4. Oh, I believe that's the yellow stocking scene. Olivia. So there's 3 roles in that. Well, actually 4, but I combine Olivia and Malvolio, and then there's also Maria. And I think the servant has like 1 line, so we'll just combine that with Maria, who of course herself a servant. So Maria will also do so Olivia, Malvolio, and then the other lines in the scene will be taken by Maria. that I believe is the yellow stocking scene. Coriolanus, Coriolanus and Ophidius. I believe this is the scene where he's pissed off at Rome and he's come back and he's making the alliance with his former arch enemy Ophidius, leader of the Volscians, that sets in motion the things for the monologue of his mother that somebody performed last week. I can't recall who. 2 more rolls. Okay, Midsummer Night's Dream, Act 2, Scene 1, Oberon and Titania. So it works perfectly because one of the 3 scenes has a third person in it. We don't need to have it. We don't have an odd person out who will do a second monologue. We have exactly 7 roles to cast among 7 people. So again, so the roles to choose from when we switched. So we're going to switch to the players' names here to see who gets the first choice amongst them. Let me adjust the wheel to take out the people that aren't here. Okay, so before we again, we have 12th Night, Olivia, Malvolio, and then Maria / servant. Then we have Coriolanus and Ophidius in Act 4, Scene 5 of Coriolanus. And then we have Oberon and Titania in Act 2, Scene 1 of Midsummer Night's Dream. And the first choice amongst those roles will be made by... I get the first choice. Obviously, I've got to choose Malvolio. One of my favorite roles I've ever played. Get to make an ass of myself again. Next choice. Bill, what would you like to do?
I'm going with familiarity. I'm going to do Mariah.
Mariah. Eleanor, what would you like?
Mm. Mm. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just looking at the Coriolanus one. I didn't realize I had been chosen to make the next pick.
Yeah,
Okay, let's see.
one of the two roles in
So
that.
I've got a choice between Olivia and Malvolio.
I took Malvolio.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know that. Which scene between them is it?
I believe this is the yellow stocking scene.
Okay, and the Midsummer, Oberon, and Titania. Which scene is that one?
Act 2, Scene 1, which I believe is when they're fighting over the changeling boy. That's what I believe it is. I haven't gone to it yet.
Mm. That's a tough choice. Okay, I'll choose to go toe to toe with you.
You'll be Olivia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Julia, what would you like?
I want Aufidius.
Aufidius. Maggie, what would you like?
Has Titania already been chosen? I'm sorry, I didn't keep track.
Okay.
Has Titania been chosen?
No, you got it. Titania.
Midsummer.
And then, so it's now between Oberon or Coriolanus. And which one of you gets to? So Danielle gets to choose between being Coriolanus or. Danielle, do you want to be Coriolanus or Oberon?
Coriolanus, please.
Okay, so that leaves Henry to be Oberon. So we'll do 12th Night with me, Eleanor, and Bill. Then we'll do Coriolanus with Danielle and Shelia. Then we'll do Midsummer Night's Dream, Oberon and Titania with Henry and Maggie. So let's see. That's the three of us here. Let me create the banner and get the scene started. Okay, so it would be the top of the scene. Olivia, I have sent after him. I'm going to take myself out of the stream temporarily. I haven't yet made my entrance, making a fool of myself yet. So Olivia and Mariah can start talking with each other, and then I'll enter. You guys have found the scene. You're ready to go with it?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So whenever.
Yes, I am. I've sent after him. He says he'll come. How shall I feast him? What bestow of him? For youth is bought more off than begged or borrowed. I speak too loud. Where is Malvolio? He is sad and civil, and suits well for a servant with my fortunes. Where is Malvolio?
He's coming, madam, but in very strange manner. He is, sure, possessed, madam.
Why? What's the matter? Does he rave?
No, madam, he does nothing but smile. Your ladyship were best to have some guard about you. If he come, for sure, the man is tainted in his wits.
Go call him hither. I am as mad as he. if sad and merry madness equal be. How now, Malvolio?
Sweet lady, ho!
Smiles thou? I sent for thee upon a sad occasion.
Sad lady, I could be sad. This does make some obstruction in the blood, this cross-gartering. But what of it? If it please the eye of one, it is with me as the very true sonnet is. Please one, and please all.
Why, how dost thou, man? What is the matter with thee?
Not black in my mind, though yellow in my legs. It did come to his hands, and command shall be executed. I think we do know the sweet Roman hand.
Wilt thou go to bed, Malvolio?
To bed? Aye, madam, I'll come to thee.
God comfort thee. Why dost thou smile so, and kiss thy hand so oft?
How do you, Malvolio?
At your request, yes. Nightingales answer daws.
Oh, why appear you in this ridiculous boldness before my lady?
Be not afraid of greatness. 'Twas well writ.
What meanst thou by that, Malvolio?
Some are born great,
Ah,
some achieve greatness,
what sayest thou?
and some have greatness thrust upon them.
Heaven restore thee.
Remember who commended thy yellow stockings,
Thy yellow stockings?
and wished to see thee cross-gartered.
Cross-gartered.
Go to, thou art made, if thou desirest to be so.
Am I made?
If not, let me see thee a servant still.
Why, this is very midsummer madness.
Madam, the young gentleman of the court Orsino's is returned. I could hardly entreat him back. He attends your ladyship's pleasure.
I'll come to him. Good Maria, let this fellow be looked to. Where's my cousin Toby? Let some of my people have especial care of him. I would not have him miscarry for the half of my dowry.
Do you come near me now? No worse man than Sir Toby to look to me. This concurs directly with a letter. She sends him on purpose that I may appear stubborn to him, for she incites me to that in the letter. Cast thy humble sloth, says she, be opposite with a kinsman, surly with servants. Let thy tongue tang with arguments of state. Put thyself into the trick of singularity, and consequently sets down the manner how, as a sad face, a reverend carriage, a slow tongue, in the habit of some sir of note, and so forth, I have limed her. But it is Jove's doing, and Jove make me thankful. And when she went away now, let this fellow be looked to. Fellow, not Malvolio, or after my degree, but fellow. Why, everything adheres together, that no dram of a scruple, no scruple of a scruple, no obstacle, no incredulous, no unsafe circumstance, what can be said? Nothing that can be can come between me and the full prospect of my hopes. Well, Jove, not I, is the doer of this, and he is to be thanked. Okay. Glad I got to do that, and you guys were, that's such a fun scene, such a fun play. Okay, we're now to Danielle and Shelia to do Coriolanus and Ophidius. Let me create the banner for that. Have you both found where the scene starts and are ready to go?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Okay, great. So whenever you are ready, take it away.
Whence comest thou? What wouldst thou? Thy name, why speakest not. Speak, man, what is thy name?
If, Tullus, not yet thou knowest me, and seeing me, dost not think me for the man I am, necessity commands me name myself.
What is thy name?
A name unmusical to the Volscians' ears, and harsh in sound to thine.
Say, what's thy name? Thou hast a grim appearance, and thy face bears a command in it, though thou's tackle's torn. Thou showest a noble vessel. What's thy name?
Prepare thy brow to frown. Know'st thou me yet?
I know thee not. Thy name?
My name is Caius Marcius, who hath done to thee particularly and to all the Volsces great hurt and mischief. Thereto witness may my surname, Coriolanus. The painful service, the extreme dangers, and the drops of blood shed for my thankless country are requited but with that surname, a good memory, and witness of the malice and displeasure which thou shouldst bear me. Only that name remains, the cruelty and envy of the people, permitted by our dastard nobles, who have all forsook me, hath devoured the rest, and suffered me, by the voice of slaves, to be whooped out of Rome. Now this extremity hath brought me to thy hearth, not out of hope, mistake me not, to save my life, for if I had feared death of all the men of the world, I would have avoided thee, but in mere spite, to be full quit of those my banishers, stand I before thee here. Then if thou hast a heart of wreck in thee, that wilt revenge thine own particular wrongs, and stop those maims of shame seen through thy country, speed thee straight, and make my misery serve thy turn. So use it, that my revengeful services may prove as benefits to thee, for I will fight against my cankered country with the spleen of all the under-fiends. But if so be thou darest not this, and that to prove more fortunes thou art tired, then in a world I also am longer to live, most weary, and present my throat to thee, and to thy ancient malice, which not to cut would show thee but a fool, since I have ever followed thee with hate, drawn tons of blood out of thy country's breast, and cannot live but to thy shame, unless it be to do thee service.
Oh, Marcius, Marcius, each word that thou hast spoke hath weeded from my heart a root of ancient envy. If Jupiter should from yon cloud speak divine things and say 'tis true, I'd not believe them more than thee. Oh, noble Marcius, let me twine mine arms about thy body, where against my grained ash 100 times hath broke and scarred the moon with splinters. Here I clip the anvil of my sword, and do contest as hotly, as nobly with thy love, as ever in ambition's strength I did contend against thy valor. Know thou first, I loved the maid I married. Never man sighed truer breath, but that I see thee here, thou noble thing, more dances my rapt heart than when I first wedded mistress saw bestride my threshold. Why, thou Mars, I tell thee, we have a power on foot, and I had purpose once more to hew thy target from thy brawn, or lose mine arm for't. Thou hast beat me out 12 several times, and I have nightly since dreamed of encounters twixt thee and myself. We have been down together in my sleep, unbuckling helms, fisting each other's throat, and waked half dead with nothing. Worthy Marcius, had we no quarrel else to Rome but that thou art thence banished, we would muster all from 12 to 70, and pouring war into the bowels of ungrateful Rome like a bold flood or bear. Oh, come, go in and take our friendly senators by the hands, who now are here, taking their leaves of me, who I am prepared against your territories, though not for Rome itself.
You bless me, gods.
Therefore, most absolute, sir, if thou wilt have the leading of thine own revenges, take the one half of my commission, and set down as best thou art experienced, since thou knowest thy country's strength and weaknesses, thine own ways, whether to knock against the gates of Rome, or rudely visit them in parts remote, to frighten them ere destroy. But come in, let me commend thee first to those that shall say yea to thy desires, 1,000 welcomes, and more a friend than e'er an enemy. Yes, Marcius, that was much. Your hand most welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, that's awesome. I don't think we've done that scene until now, and the two of you were great with it. That's a really good scene. Okay, so next we're doing the last scene, then we're going to call it a day. We have Midsummer Night's Dream, Oberon, and Titania, and that are going to be played by Henry and Maggie. Let me create the. I'm assuming you guys have found where to start. When I think it's not the top of the scene when Oberon and Titania enter. Oberon and.
I like the crown, Maggie.
Well, I am a queen. I couldn't find my tiara of flowers, so I had to go with the real crown.
So you guys are both ready to go?
Yeah, and should Oberon finish after she leaves? He's got one little section just before he speaks to Puck.
Yes, Oberon is going to. He's actually going to go on a bit further too, actually. But don't tell Mark.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well,
So you exit and then Henry does a mon. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead and start.
Ill met by moonlight, proud Titania.
What, jealous Oberon? Fairy, skip hence. I have forsworn his bed and company.
Tarry, rash wanton. Am I not thy lord?
Then I must be thy lady. But I know when thou hast stolen away from fairyland, and in the shape of Corin sat all day, playing on pipes of corn and versing love to amorous Phillida. Why art thou here, come from the farthest step of India? But that forsooth the bouncing Amazon, your buskined mistress and your warrior love, to Theseus must be wedded, and you come to give their bed joy and prosperity.
How canst thou thus for shame, Titania, glance at my credit with Hippolyta, knowing I know thy love to Theseus? Didst thou not lead him through the glimmering night from Perigenia, whom he ravished, and made him with the fair Aegle break his faith with Ariadne and Antiope?
These are the forgeries of jealousy. And never since the middle summer's spring met we on hill, in dale, forest, or mead, by paved fountain, or by rushy brook, or in the beached margent of the sea, to dance our ringlets to the whistling wind. But with thy brawls thou hast disturbed our sport, piping to us in vain, as in revenge, have sucked up from the sea contagious fogs, which, falling in the land, have every pelting river made so proud that they have overborne their continents. The ox hath therefore stretched his yoke in vain, the plowman lost in his sweat, and the green corn hath rotted ere his youth attained a beard. The fold stands empty in the drowned field, and crows are fatted with the murrian flock. The 9 men's morris in the filled up with mud, and the quaint mazes in the wanton green, for lack of tread, are indistinguishable. The human mortals want their winter here. No night is now with hymn or carol blessed. Therefore the moon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, washes all the air, that rheumatic diseases do abound. And thorough this distemperature we see the seasons alter. Hoary-headed frosts far in the fresh lap of the crimson rose, and an old hime's thin and icy crown, an odorous chaplet of sweet summer buds is, as in mockery, set. The spring, the summer, the childing autumn, angry winter, change their wonted liveries, and the mazed world by their increase now knows not which is which. And this same progeny of evils comes from our debate, from our dissension. We are their parents and original.
Do you amend it then? It lies in you. Why should Titania cross her Oberon? I do but beg a little changeling boy to be my henchman.
Set your heart at rest. The fairy land buys not the child of me. His mother was a votaress of my order, and in the spiced Indian air by night full often hath she gossiped by my side, and sat with me on Neptune's yellow sands, marking the embarked traders on the flood, when we have laughed to see the sails conceive and grow big-bellied with the wanton wind, which she, with pretty and with swimming gait following, her womb then rich with my young squire, would imitate and sail upon the land to fetch me trifles and return again, as from a voyage rich with merchandise. But she, being mortal, of that boy did die. And for her sake do I rear up her boy, and for her sake I will not part with him.
How long within this wood intend you stay?
Perchance till after Theseus' wedding day. If you will patiently dance in our round and see our moonlit revels, go with us. If not, shun me, and I will spare your haunts.
Give me that boy, and I will go with thee.
Not for thy fairy kingdom. Fairies, away! We shall chide downright if I longer stay.
Well, go thy way. Thou shalt not from this grove till I torment thee for this injury. My gentle Puck, come hither. Thou rememberest, since once I sat upon a promontory, and heard a mermaid on a dolphin's back uttering such dulcet and harmonious breath that the rude sea grew civil at her song, and certain stars shot madly from their spheres to hear the sea maid's music. That very time I saw, but thou couldst not, flying between the cold moon and the earth, Cupid, all armed. A certain aim he took at a fair vestal throned by the west, and loosed his love shaft smartly from his bow, as it should pierce 100,000 hearts. But I might see young Cupid's fiery shaft quenched in the chaste beams of the watery moon, and the imperial votaress passed on in maiden meditation, fancy-free, Yet marked I where the bolt of Cupid fell. It fell upon a little western flower, before milk white, now purple with love's wound, and maidens call it love in idleness. Fetch me that flower. The herb I showed thee once, the juice of it on sleeping eyelids laid will make a man or woman manly dote upon the next live creature that it sees. Fetch me this herb, and be thou here again, ere the Leviathan can swim a league. Ha 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 ha!
Okay, that was awesome. We got lucky. I think all three of the scenes that the wheel gave us this week were good ones, and based on the random determination, we got good. We matched people very well to the roles in all three of them, and I love the performances that we got this week. So great performances this week, everybody, both in the monologues and the scenes. This has been a fun round. Look forward to doing it again, same time next week. See you guys then. Bye now.